After 18 years of programming, the final Asia Down Under. We report on how Asian life in New Zealand has changed over those years. We look back at the highlights of this year, and we look back at how it all began.
Ni hao.
Hello and welcome to the very last episode of Asia Down Under. Soon we'll be looking at how life has changed for New Zealand's Asian community over the last 18 years. But first, let's take a look at the highlights of our programme for the last year. Throughout the year, we've travelled the country in search of remarkable people and remarkable places. One that was a huge eye-opener for me was my visit to Hawke's Bay's Filipino apiarists, Florent and Ronaldo. It turns out there's much more to beekeeping than just honey. In fact, here the bees themselves are the profitable trade, because New Zealand bees are in high demand all over the world. When we met, they were preparing a colony of bees destined for Canada. Well, vital instructions for survival in an apiary is do not be a helicopter. You're not meant to be waving your hands around the place, but you can't really help doing that because they're just everywhere. It's just absolutely mind-boggling. I've never seen anything like it. In October each year, Ronaldo and Florent help the apiary move hundreds of hives to pollinate the orchards that Hawke's Bay is so famous for. Without the bees, we'd have no fruit. It's nature's simple equation at work. Another eye-opener was my spectacular trip to the albatross colony at the Otago Peninsula. And what a job! Guide Leon Chu spreads the conservation word, sharing the lives of these regal birds with the hundreds of visitors who come to the colony each year.
I think a lot of it is to do with the mystery of the albatrosses, because for a very long time people only ever saw them flying behind boats.
Staying in the wild, Bharat headed to the Fiordland National Park. Here the Department of Conservation commutes by chopper, and Bharat hitched a ride.
This is nature at its best. What you see behind me has probably never been stepped upon by human feet. This amazing World Heritage Site is a sanctuary for one of the country's rarest birds, the kakapo. And dock rangers work tirelessly to keep the land and sea pristine for those that call it home. But there's conservation work in cities too. At Auckland Zoo, Geraldine met Larry Lee, the zoo's youngest zookeeper. His passion for conservation earned him this much sought-after job.
It's our role to tell people about these animals and educate the public and get more people interested in it. And that's just really important because a lot of people won't hear or see about conservation issues. So we really need to tell them about it.
Staying in Auckland, Geraldine met an interesting woman with a breathtaking job. Perched over the ocean 98 feet up is Maho Naborisaka. She's inspecting the sails of the Soren Larsen, a 19th century square rigger. Maho is the ship's second mate.
I think I don't say I'm not scared, because it's better to be a bit scared always, but it's too good not to go up.
Maho was one of many inspiring individuals we've met this year. Many have had stories of hope, courage, and a remarkable determination to make a difference in this world. For 6 weeks, freelance director Kim Webby went to live on the remote and desperately poor Indonesian island of Pulau Telok. Kim went as a volunteer to help Kiwi doctor Derek Allen, who for more than 30 years has been the island's only doctor.
Telok has some beautiful things though. It's got a stunning weather, surf breaks over there. It's 35 degrees in the daytime and it's 35 degrees at night time. We're just so lucky we've got such a regular temperature.
The 6 weeks on Pulau Telok was a life-changing experience for Kim and the other volunteers.
So this is a room that was full of medical supplies and a bit of rat poo, and once it's cleaned out, it's going to be my bedroom.
I'm glad I chose to come, but for Derek, the only choice is the one he made 30 years ago, to stay and help the poor.
Back in New Zealand, a little girl is one step closer to her dream of becoming a TV reporter. Geraldine met Joyce Singh, a young lady bursting with so much life, it's hard to believe she's battling cancer.
Hi, my name is Joyce Singh and I'm 8 years old and I was diagnosed with cancer and it was called leukemia.
Joyce captures the hearts of all who come across her, including the staff at the Child Cancer Foundation. When this year's appeal was being organized, they asked this aspiring model to become one of the faces of the appeal.
It was really fun. I never expected the day was going to come for me, so like my dream has come true.
Joyce continues to battle cancer, but is responding well to her treatment. We head south again for another story of hope and a selfless commitment to others. I went to Paraparaumu, where I met former police officer Paul Fong. After many years working with troubled teens, he and his wife committed their life savings to Youth Quest, a mentoring program that helps young offenders get back on the straight and narrow.
The thing with them is if you talk to them, they'll tell you exactly that, you know, that if you can persevere, if you can stick in there, then that tends to be the biggest thing. They need people that can support them. They've had many people throughout their lives give up on them, you know, and it's those ones that will stick around through thick and thin, good times and bad, that seem to make the difference.
I also met the mothers of Sans Manukau, women whose babies have passed away.
It's okay to cry. It's okay to grieve for your baby.
In their deep sorrow, they've found purpose in helping other bereaved parents, campaigning for changes, and encouraging discussion about baby loss in a society that prefers to keep silent about it.
Find people that will allow you to talk about your baby, to acknowledge your baby, cherish your baby's life as if you would for an adult's life. A life is a life, no matter how small.
And if this year there's been sadness, there's also been happiness. The prestigious graduation gala of the Auckland University School of Music has become a favourite of ours. Each year it showcases the talent of some very gifted young students. This year's winner, 18-year-old Korean-born Tina Kim, gave a truly stunning performance.
I think I had the most fun in my life, like while I was performing. Yeah, so I don't know what my playing was like and how it sounded, but it was just so amazing for me. Yeah.
In another university piano story, we met a rare musical group, the Estrella Quartet. Milda met this fascinating group of young performers. With 8 hands playing on 2 pianos, the 4 musicians had very different playing styles, all working together to make one ensemble sound. But perhaps this year's most unforgettable performance was from visiting Rajasthani musicians. The amazing set design featured musicians seated in 36 red-curtained cubicles. The Mangania Seduction was created by producer Royston Abel in collaboration with the very traditional Mangania musicians of Rajasthan.
You know, they don't attribute their skill to themselves. They attribute any activity in form of music to the divine. So there is that egolessness which happens, and that's what makes their music very special.
For hundreds of years, these musicians of the Thar Desert have passed on their skills. Their performance, the result of tradition and technology, spoke for itself.
Well, what a spectacular note to end our look back on this year's Asia Downunder.
And now for a reflection on how life has changed for New Zealand.